Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and I appreciate your focus and attention on this issue, which is, of course, extremely important to the people of Louisiana and the Gulf Coast in a very particular, personal, and emotional way because of what is happening right off of our shore. But it's what's happening on the shore that has me concerned right now, and you know what my question is going to be, and it's one that everyone in Louisiana is asking, as well as people from Mississippi, Texas, and Alabama. In the appendix of this report, May 27th, it lists the names of 15 experts that you consulted with on your report. I received a letter yesterday from 8 of them, a majority, that say they disagree with your decision to impose the 6-month moratoria. In their words, the report does not justify the moratoria as written. The moratorium as changed will not contribute measurably to increased safety and will have an immediate and long-term economic effect. These experts believe, and I agree, that this report includes some important recommendations, but I don't believe, like they don't believe, that this temporary pause, if it lasts very much longer than a few months, not 6, just a few months, it could potentially wreak economic havoc on this region that exceeds the havoc wreaked by the spill itself. I'm going to submit to the record testimony from companies that no one on this panel will recognize because they're not oil companies. Acre Solutions employs 750 employees in Texas and Alabama. Bollinger Shipyards has been in business for 64 years. They've testified to us they've never experienced such an uncertain future. They could be laying off thousands of workers. Broadpoint, Inc., 27-year-old privately held company, 100 employees based in the Gulf Coast. Their operations will be 99% affected almost immediately. CNC Technologies, they provide mapping. They're not even an oil company. They expect layoffs immediately. The consequences of this moratoria on the 33 deep water rigs, where 100 to 200 people work on each one, and for every one on the rig, there are 4 or 5 jobs directly supporting that job, not counting the 10,000 jobs. This could be devastating to our state and to the Gulf Coast, an area that is fragile economically from the ravages of the storms just recently. So on behalf of the people I represent, I am asking, can you give any time certain, can you give any confidence that we can keep our people at work, get our people back to work, understanding there are some safety issues? And if not, what are you going to tell the potentially, according to the documents that I'm going to submit to the record, Mr. Chairman, it could affect 330,000 people in Louisiana alone. I don't have the Mississippi numbers. I don't have the Texas numbers. I don't have the Alabama numbers. 330,000 people, that is 13.4% of Louisiana's workforce. Now, I know not this whole workforce is focused on deep water. It's on shallow. But if not a time certain, a shorter time than 6 months, some confidence that you're doing everything and the President's doing everything they can to get to the root of safety, implement it so we can produce the oil not just for ourselves, Mr. Secretary, but for the country that needs it.
If I may, Senator Landrieu, respond to the question in 3 ways. First, the experts that were involved in crafting the report gave us their recommendations and their input, and I very much appreciate those recommendations. It was not their decision on the moratorium. It was my decision and the President's decision to move forward with the moratorium, but I do appreciate the experts and their involvement and their point of view. Secondly, the jobs are a concern to us, but we want to make sure that as OCS development takes place, that it's going to be done in a safe way. That's why the notice to lessees that went out yesterday will allow the shallow water development programs still to continue. And the third point I would make, Senator Landrieu, to frame the discussion perhaps in this committee, it seems to me that we have 3 options. You know, one would be to say full speed ahead. You know, the 33
And nobody's
drilling rigs that are out
suggesting
there. Just go, don't stop, move forward. Another option would be what some members of the Congress would want us to do, and other members of the public, and that's just to stop and say no more drilling or exploration activities in the Outer Continental Shelf. The place where the President of the United States and I have arrived at this issue is we have put the pause button until we can have a sense of safety that this is never going to happen again. Now, when we lift our hand from the pause button, we'll be dependent on when we can get to that point.
Okay, well, let me ask this and submit one thing to the record. I appreciate the chairman's leeway here. But for the record, Texas uses, just the state of Texas, 1.1 billion barrels of oil a year. California uses 750 million. New Jersey uses 226 million. Connecticut is the least at 795. Now, nobody's suggesting these consumption numbers are going to go down anytime soon. So there are some economic risk, some national security risk in terms of less oil being produced domestically, as well as environmental risk. And I'm just saying that needs to be balanced. And I know that you understand that. And then finally, the question is, and you can answer it now or in writing, if these long list of companies that are not oil companies but oil service companies have to either go out of business or take bankruptcy or lay off thousands of workers, are you going to ask BP to pick up their salaries and to make them whole?
The answer to that is yes, we will. BP is responsible, and BP is responsible for all the damages that flow from the BP oil spill, and these are some of the consequences from that oil spill.
Thank you.